historic Sebring International Raceway. Well, about an hour and a half south of Orlando, Florida. The Disneyland Kingdom has nothing on Sebring International Raceway. Just look at this iconic racetrack. Long straights, tight corners, really designed to emulate the turns at Le Mans and built on a World War II bomber training base. Turn 1, very high-speed entry. Good passing zone, perhaps the best passing. Turn 7 there at the hairpin. Turns 10, 11, and 12. You can always get something done there, but it's a big risk. And then finally, turn 17, your last chance to get inside or maybe outside your competitor, get the run onto the front straightaway and to the checkered flag. Like I said, 2 rounds to settle the championships in 2020 from here at Sebring. Welcome everyone, Brian Sill, along with Jeremy Shaw. And not only 2 rounds, Jeremy, but I find this interesting because it's 2 rounds on the same day. If you make a mistake and have a problem in race number 1, you don't have much time to get that Lamborghini Super Trofeo Huracan Evo back on track for this afternoon's action.
Well, good morning, Brian. Yes, you're absolutely right. And you don't want any problems in today's race. You want to get into the finale of the season, which will be coming up in just a few hours' time.
And championships, Jeremy, especially in the pro category, you look at it, Madison Snow leads. He's got a 15-point margin over Jake Edson, but that was whittled down after qualifying. Jake Edson, Stephen Agakani both did their jobs. They qualified on pole in the 2 respective races. That gave them a point, and that has closed the championship down even further. I look at it, and to me, Madison Snow needs at least 1 podium finish and perhaps another 4th if Jake Edson and Stephen Agakani can walk away with 2 victories here.
Yeah, certainly an intriguing final round of the championship, and the chasers in the championship, Stephen Agakani and Jacob Edson, they're running a brand new car this weekend. It's a gorgeous looking car too. It's a unique tricolore edition colored Lamborghini. It's white with green and red highlights on it. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It's a brand new car. They tested it with that car here a few weeks ago and decided they liked it so much they're going to race it for the first time. So it's a new car for that pairing, and Stephen Agakani has put it on the pole position.
And you look at that, and a lot of times new cars have bugs, but at the same point in time, new cars, a little tighter chassis, they respond a little bit better to changes, to setup changes. Maybe that's what we're seeing, but we're talking about championships. We're talking about Stephen Agakani and Jake Edson on the pole. Let's talk about the rest of the field, Jeremy. Take us through the starting lineup for round number 9, race number 1 here at Sebring.
Yeah, we've got a 16-car entry for these final 2 races of the season. Starting at the back in car number 99 is Danny Formal for Answer Motorsports. That car actually qualified 5th position, but it was found to be too low in post-qualifying technical inspection, so we'll start at the back. Alongside him, also having problems in qualifying, Trevor Andrusko in car number 38. Row 7 of the grid is Sidney McKee in car number 87, alongside Matt Dickin in car number 36, making his return after missing the last couple of races out on the West Coast. 12th position on the grid is our leading LB Cup contender. That's Randy Solari in car number 03 for Change Racing. Alongside him on the grid is Ashton Harrison in car number 25 for Prestige Performance, Wayne Taylor Racing. Row 5, Victor Gomez, the 4th, the championship leader in the AM category for Change Racing in car number 29. Alongside Eric Curran making his return to the championship in car number 69 for Wayne Taylor Racing. Row 4 making his debut in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America from Germany is Moritz Kranz in car number 74 for TPC Racing, alongside the Brazilian Leo Lamelas in car number 24. Fellow Brazilian Sergio Jimenez, who dominated the races out on the West Coast at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca a couple of weeks ago, will start in the 6th position in car number 13, alongside the Pro-Am Championship leader Corey Lewis in car number 63 for Change Racing. Row 2 of the grid is Stephen McAleer for Prestige Performance in car number 1, alongside Brandon Godovic in car number 46 for Precision Performance Motorsports. Onto the front row, the championship leader Madison Snow in car number 16 for Change Racing. But on that pole position for US Racetronics, a brand new car, the youngster, his 2nd pole of the season, just 17 years of age, is Stephen Agakani.
So you talk about second pole of the season, but I think it's 5 or 6 for that team, that combination of Edson and Agakani. They have been impressive. We'll see how impressive they can be in that new car. For Madison Snow, though, Jeremy, what is he thinking? Is he thinking I got to go out and win this thing? Or is he thinking if I can just finish on the rear wing of that number 6, I'm going to be fine? If it's me, I'm going to do what I've done all season long, and that is race for the win. And we are about to get at it. Safety car into the pit lane. Field of Lamborghini Super Evos on to the front straight. Aga Khan, driver's left, Snow to the right. That is the championship on the front row right now. First and second, green flag waves. Beautiful start. Aga Khan with a bit of a jump on the way down to turn 1.
Yeah, it was a good start there by the young Californian, but they're side by side and around the outside, using his experience. Madison Snow turned in a little bit too soon. Contact, he slides wide. Now, Madison Snow has got some work to do.
Oh, wow, I mean, we're going to say this a lot through these next couple of races. Big championship implications. Madison Snow let his intentions be known there and almost contact again in turn 3 with the number 13. Madison Snow lagged back a little bit on the start, but it looked like he was going to get that outside run around Aga Khan contact, and Snow almost threw it all away. Now, defensive Snow down into the hairpin, Jeremy.
That was tight. That was really, really close down there. Madison Snow, he's on a pretty eventful first lap, exactly what he did not want as the championship leader.
I think Danny Formal with that charge up from starting back in the pack, a little bit of an issue as well, but now Madison Snow in that bright white number 16 back to 4th. When you go back to the start and you look at it, Snow makes a leap around the outside, but just hasn't cleared Aga Khan in the 6. Contact right front to left rear. That sends Snow out wide, and it could have easily spun him. He could have thrown the championship all away right there. And Jeremy, interesting, it was mistakes on the part of the number 6 team that really have set them back. They made a mistake in the final race at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta there in the final goings with a spin that set them well back, and then a mistake on a restart cost them a penalty at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. You can't make mistakes in Lamborghini Super Trofeo action, and it's going to hurt.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think that was a clean start. I don't think there was anything untoward there between those two leaders. Just good hard racing going into turn 1. Madison Snow was trying to cut across from the outside line, but he wasn't clear of the pole sitter. So he did a really good job to hang on to that number 6E car, and he's going to complete this first lap in the 4th position.
My concern, if I'm Madison Snow now, I really want to feel out this race car, especially in right-hand corners as they whistle through turn 1. He's trying to move his way back up. He now has the 1 in front of him to get up to that 3rd position. My concern would be my left rear tire, because it was the left rear that made contact with the right front of Aga Khan, and with the dive planes on these Lamborghinis, that dive plane up front for Aga Khan could have easily done some damage to that left rear for Snow. So he really needs to feel that out, make sure that he's got that sidewall underneath him and that he's got good pressure in that number 16.
Yeah, and just so we're the car number 38 of Trevor Andrusco did not start the race. He was supposed to start toward the back of the field. They had some problems in qualifying. There's an electrical problem. The car just wouldn't start this morning either. So Trevor Andrusco and Scott Schmidt will not start that number 38 car, running in the AM category this weekend. But out in front, we've got Stephen Aga Khan, a really good first lap to complete lap 1. A gap of almost a second over Brandon Godovic up into 2nd position.
Moritz Kranz in the 74, that silver, red, and blue Lamborghini having a good run. Interesting to see that driver here. First time we've seen Kranz all year long, and he has been impressive from unloading here at Sebring. Qualified first in the AM category in the 74. He's sharing with Tom Kerr this weekend, and for Tom Kerr, first time he's been in Lamborghini Super Trofeo North American action with a teammate. So Kerr's got a good one in Kranz.
Yeah, and the field not really strung out at all. So good battles all the way up and down. This one is now a 15-car field without the number 38 car of Trevor Andrusco. But some good battling there, and trying to work his way through the pack. Danny Formal in car number 99 started at the back, qualified in the 5th position in qualifying yesterday as the fastest car in the Pro-Am category, but he's had to go to the back of the field. That car just a little bit under the minimum ride height after qualifying. So he's got his work to do, Danny 4 miles from Costa Rica, to move his way back up through the field. But this battle continuing here. This is for third position with Stephen McAleer, the Scotsman, in that place right now, ahead of the championship leader, Madison Snow.
When I looked at the points, Jeremy, and you're a better mathematician than I am, as Snow continuing to work on the rear wing of McAleer in front of him, looked to me like after the two pole positions of Agakani and Edson in the number 6, the points that they closed down, that Madison Snow needs to leave here with a 4th and a 3rd place finish if he's to hold on to this championship lead. He sits 4th right now. You can't throw anything away by trying to get McAleer, but you need to move forward as quickly as you can. Patience, I think, would be a virtue, but at the same point in time, you've got to pounce when you have an opportunity, and that's exactly what Snow's trying to do right now as they head over to turn 13 inside. McAleer gets the job done, and Snow now on a charge back up towards the front. He takes over 3rd.
What a great move there by Madison Snow, using all of his experience there to find a way past Stephen McAleer. He set it up at turn 10, got a good run off that corner, was able to go around the outside of those two kind of kinks to the left at turns 11 and 12, and that put him on the inside for Tower turn 13, and now Madison Snow up into 3rd position.
Talking to Stephen McAleer yesterday, a little disappointed with the performance they've had this year in that number 1 car. He said, we just can't get a handle on it. He and Stuart Middleton, they get a car that can turn a good lap or two in, he said, but then the performance just goes away. Some of it may be learning to drive this GT-based car coming out of IMSA Prototype Challenge this year for Stephen McAleer, but this is a guy who's driven everything. You just, eventually, I think you've got to learn the car a little bit and find a setup that works for your driving style. But most importantly, especially in a place like Sebring, you've got to be able to keep those tires underneath you for the entire 50 minutes.
That certainly is a factor around here. You know, these tires take a beating. This is a tough physical racetrack. It's pretty warm out here, even though it's early in the morning. It's already pretty warm out there. And as we see a move to the inside, that's Leo Lamellis trying to get past Ashton Harrison. That is a battle for the 11th and 12th positions and 4th place in the Pro-Am class. Right ahead of them on the road is Danny 4 Mile, and right ahead of Danny 4 Mile is Eric Curran in car number 69.
Sergio Jimenez in 5th right now. What a weekend he had in that copper color, that bronze color number 13. What a weekend he had last time out at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. He walked away wrapping up both wins on the weekend, Jeremy. Impressive stuff, not only for he, but his team as well.
Yeah, that's right. It was a really good result there for that team. And Sergio Jimenez now, he's not got the same pace as he had at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Maybe he likes the West Coast more than the East Coast, although these weather conditions here are more akin to what he's used to in Brazil. But he's having to run now in that 5th place, and Corey Lewis, the Pro-Am leader, but yes, he's in the Pro-Am classes, Corey Lewis. Sergio Jimenez is a pro, but Corey Lewis, he's won the Pro Championship himself a couple of times in the past, so he's been around this series a long time. He's going to be sharing that number 63 Change Racing entry, representing the Charlotte dealerships with McKay Snow, who is a younger brother of Madison, who's in that 3rd position overall.
And that's another championship battle that we've got to keep an eye on, because Corey Lewis and McKay Snow, they lead the Pro-Am Championship in the number 63, but Leo Lamellis has closed down on them. He picked up 2 points in the championship with good runs at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. So with a 4th place finish and a victory there, Lamellis has kind of closed that back in a little bit. He's got 8 points he's going to have to gather up here in these 2 rounds at Sebring. That's a pretty big haul, but for Corey Lewis and McKay Snow, they cannot let up at all, which is why Lewis trying to take the fight right now to Jimenez, who's just in front. Down through Gurney Bend towards the hairpin, the slowest corner on the racetrack for any car that runs here, about 43 miles an hour at the apex in one of these Lamborghinis. Then you accelerate out of there through the Fangio chicane, the right-left, which used to be a lot tighter, into Cunningham Corner, also known as turn 10. Heavy braking for this right-hand corner. Down a couple of gears out of there, the left-hander Collier curve, named for Sam Collier, who really is the one who flew over this racetrack many, many years ago in the 50s and looked down and said, I think we could have an endurance-style sports car race there. And it was really kind of his idea. Unfortunately, he was killed in a tragic racing accident not long after that, but they took his memory and brought it to this event, and he'll always be a part of what Sebring International Raceway is, and especially the endurance races that take place here. Right now, the 63, Corey Lewis, sits in the lead in Pro-Am. That's where he needs to be. Kranz right behind him. We were just talking about Moritz Kranz. He could care less where Corey Lewis is, because for Kranz, this is his debut in Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America, and he wants to make a good impression. Certainly is at this point in time, Jeremy.
Well, he really is, yes, and that's for the TPC Racing team. He's running that car as number 74 has been run previously by Tom Kerr this season. Tom is co-driving with Moritz Kranz. Moritz he's got a lot of experience in all sorts of different cars. He's at there's a big sideways slide. I think that was that Danny Formal? Not quite sure. I think it might have been, but that was a big slide there coming out of that final corner. But Moritz Kranz is running a really nicely now, and he will share that number 74 car with Tom Kerr in this race in the AM category, which they now lead.
When Formal,
yeah,
I don't know if he got into the side of the car that was beside him, but he's got significant left rear damage. That damage was there before he got to the wall. The question is, did it come from the other car, or did the suspension just collapse on the bumps?
Yeah, one or the other certainly, but it was the cause of that of collecting a wall was it was not the effect. It was the something went wrong on that car. Either got a puncture or a suspension failed on that car. No, he's got a puncture. The tire went down.
Did he rip the tire right off the rim? Right there, he did.
It's right off. Yeah. Wow.
You could see it. The car sits down so hard it literally pulls the tire off of the wheel and gets that instantaneous deflation. And for a less experienced driver, it could have been all over and in the fence. But Formal does a great job of keeping it out of the fence. It makes a little contact and just takes a banner with him, but that could have been huge.
Yeah, that was a great save by Danny Formal. I mean, that watch you coming around the corner, the car just leaps bounces up and down over the bumps, and all of a sudden the tire just blows as the car comes crashing back down to earth again. That was a brilliant save by Danny Formal. He's quite a talent, this young man. He's been a mega star in the karting ranks, the go-karting ranks for many, many years, but he's done the odd race here and there, but this season really is his first in professional racing, given the opportunity by this ANSA Motorsports team to drive that number 99 car, and he's been a bit of a revelation in that Pro-Am class. He's been running right up at the front, and that's an unfortunate end to his race, but he did a great job to save it. That could have been really, really nasty, and the damage on that car, I think, is pretty minimal, thanks to the reflexes there of Danny Formal.
Respect the bumps. That is the tagline here at Sebring. Everybody says it in every class. For Danny Formal, he just found out what that means, as those bumps in turn 17 just ripped that Pirelli tire right off the left rear wheel, causing an instantaneous deflation for him. He is out. Stephen Agakani is out in front, doing exactly what he needs to do, Jeremy, keeping that car out there. And I'm really, really impressed. As we talked about, there have been some mistakes made on the part of this team, but they have put those behind them. They came here with a brand new car, as you mentioned, did everything that they've been asked to do so far, and that is qualify on the pole for both race 1 and 2. And now Agakani, with a bold start from the pole, held Madison Snow to the outside, has taken the lead, now has about 2.5 seconds in hand.
Yeah, 50-minute race, and of course there is a mandatory pit stop any time between 20 minutes into the race. There's a 10-minute window in which every car has to come onto the pit lane. There is a mandatory also minimum pit stop time. That time is taken from the moment the cars enter the pit lane to the moment they exit. The minimum time in that split has to be 93 seconds for the cars that have 2 drivers. For the solo drivers, the minimum time is 96 seconds, so 3 seconds longer. The reasoning for that, well, the driver, if somebody's driving solo in this race, he's already done a minimum of 20 minutes at the wheel of that car before he makes his pit stop. He knows exactly how the car is handling, how much grip there is in every different part of the racetrack. Whereas the guy who's going out fresh, taking over from somebody else, he's got to learn how the car feels on the racetrack in this particular time. That is why there is a 3-second penalty, if you like, for driving solo in this race, and that could be a factor during this race, because Stephen Agakanin, he is sharing the car with Jacob Edson, so his pit stop can be quicker than those of his 2 pursuers, Brandon Godovic in 2nd position in car number 46 and Madison Snow in 3rd place in car number 16.
Brandon Godovic onto the front straightaway the last time at the exit of 17, got into one of the banners that Danny Formal had ripped off the tire wall at the outside. Doesn't seem to have affected the 46 at all. And Brandon Godovic, one of those drivers driving solo, 3rd in the championship. And he's mathematically capable of winning, but it means the other cars don't need to start the race. No one's told Brandon Godovic that, because as we see on a regular basis, he is up on the wheel and pushing forward. He's going to make the best of this championship, whether he can win it or not. And that's really what you've got to do. You put your head down and drive to win every time you're out there on the racetrack, and you never know what's going to come your way. He's had some good runs in the Xfinity Series this year, at Indy and at Daytona, running up front in those 2 series. And what a change from running a Lamborghini Super Trofeo car to running an Xfinity car in NASCAR. But he's done a great job, and both of them right now not letting Agakani get away as they head down the Ullman Straight into Sunset Bend, turn 17, and they'll complete another lap here at Sebring.
Yes, but how different it could have been for Brandon Godovic. He qualified on the pole position, actually for the first time at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, due to a kind of a clerical error, let's say, they didn't fuel the car properly, so he had to come in and make a pit stop and to top that car off with fuel. It cost him any chance of a win there, and that win could have had him right in contention for this championship. But right now, he's just going to go as hard as he possibly can. He's chasing in 2nd place. Is the Virginian there, Brandon Godovic from Yorktown in Virginia. He's had 5 overall wins in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo, made his debut back in 2015. So one of the most experienced drivers in the field, and hanging on there in the 2nd position and trying to track down Stephen Agakani in the lead.
You use the term would and could. As far as racing goes, Jeremy, you've been around this long enough to know those are 2 words that you shouldn't use, because we all would have and should have won championships at some point in time, right?
That's exactly right. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't. Yes, there's 4 words at the end of that phrase, aren't there? Woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't.
Exactly.
Next time.
Exactly.
But Moritz Kranz is really keeping the pressure here on Corey Lewis there. They're in different classes, these 2. Corey Lewis is running 1st in the Pro-Am category, 6th place overall behind all the Pro contenders. Moritz Kranz, though, is leading the Am category. He will hand over that car to Tom Kerr for the 2nd part of this race. And we talked about the pit window being open between 30 minutes into the race, which is I think only a couple of minutes from now, for 10 minutes. And I would expect to see Moritz Kranz stay out as long as he possibly can before handing out that car over to Tom Kerr, who doesn't have anything like as much overall racing experience as the German driver Moritz Kranz.
Now, Kranz has a lot of experience when you really look at it, and he's very talented. He's got VLN race wins. He's got, I believe, a class win at the Nürburgring 20. So this is a driver that certainly knows how to get it done, slotted into the AM category, as you said, with Tom Kerr here at Sebring, but really putting the pressure on Lewis. And this is one of those things where you've got to really know where you fit in. We talk a lot about this in Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America action. That is 4 different classes. And, you know, as the 63 flashes through turn 1 more time with Kranz right behind it, Lewis needs to understand that the car right behind him doesn't matter in overall points for the championship. And that's where you can get yourself in trouble. 4 different classes, but all of them have exactly the same chassis, the same power plant, the same horsepower. So you're racing with people a lot of times that you really don't need to be racing with as far as your championship points haul goes.
Well, that's absolutely right. And Corey Lewis and McKay Snow come in to these final 2 races, leading Leo Lamelas by just 8 points in the championship. That is certainly a deficit that can be overcome this weekend, particularly with 5 cars in the Pro-Am class. Unfortunately, one of them already out of the race. That's Danny Formal with that problem a little bit earlier on. Leo Lamelas running currently in the 3rd position in Pro-Am, 10th overall in car number 24. He's running for the US Racetronics team, but he will be driving this race solo, whereas both Corey Lewis and Eric Curran will be handing over to co-drivers. Corey Lewis's co-driver, McKay Snow, is fast. Eric Curran's co-driver, William Huddle, not quite so much. Very little racing experience for William. So Leo Lamelas certainly has an opportunity to at least move up into 2nd position in the Pro-Am class.
Well, pit window is open. Brandon Godovic takes it, and that was close. I mean, I kind of looked down and looked back up, and I believe that he was okay when he came in. I don't think he got to that line early, but Godovic, the first of the takers, I believe, for the pit stop. Driving solo, he'll have to be in pit lane, not stopped, but in pit lane for 96 seconds. There are pit limiting speed signs at pit entry. That's where the timing beam starts, and then it stops as you leave pit lane. You go past the speed limit sign on the way out. That's where the timing loop ends, and in between those 2 marks, you need to spend 96 seconds if you're driving solo, and as you said, 93 if you've got a co-driver. Pits on the back straight in the pit lane that was built for WEC a couple of years ago, and so Lamborghini pitting on the back straight, not the front straight, as is customary at Sebring. Meanwhile, Stephen Agakani still out in front in the pro category. Corey Lewis in the 63 leads in Pro-Am, and 75, Maurice Krantz right behind 74, I should say. Krantz right behind him, so the leader in Pro-Am and in Am running nose to tail as they head into turn 10.
Yeah, certainly a good battle. There's several good battles going on around the field. Another good battle going on for 2nd position in the LB Cup category, with Matt Dickin trying to hold off Sydney McKee, who had her first win last time out at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. But I think this is the best battle on the racetrack right now. It is at the moment for the 5th and 6th positions, with Corey Lewis and Moritz Kranz, as we see now Stephen Agakani, the race leader, making to the pit lane on his 11th lap.
2 of the most important pit stops young Stephen Agakani and Jake Edson will do all year, as the 38 has a problem out on the racetrack. And Driscoll with a little off-on in turn 3, I believe.
That's actually his first lap at that car. It didn't take the start of the race. So he's just come out of the pits. They finally got that car fired up, but he's slid off the road there. But good to see at least that car is now back is into the race.
Probably cold tires. He was in such a hurry to get out there, hadn't gotten pressure up yet, and that banner causing problems, and just caused a big problem for Maurice Krantz in the 74, picks it up and attaches it to the rear wing as he comes through turn 17. The good thing is, I don't know if they were planning on making a stop this lap, but in about 2/3 of a lap, he can dive the pit lane and get that taken off. In the meantime, it will be a problem on the rear wing, the airflow not flowing over the right side of the rear wing the way it should. And that will not only reduce downforce on that side, but it'll create tremendous buffeting and tremendous drag. So downforce spread across the back of the car will be uneven, and that will be, to put it mildly, uncomfortable.
Yeah, that won't be a lot of fun driving that car at the moment. But the first car to come on into the pits, Brandon Godovic in car number 46 for the Precision Performance Motorsports team. He's now back out into the race, as are a couple of the other contenders that came in early as well.
Jake Edson now in the 6. He's back out on the racetrack as the 46 flashes through turn 17 for another lap. Godovic back out, and you wonder why, if you're not familiar with Lamborghini Super Trofeo action, you wonder why that solo driver needs to sit on pit lane or needs to be on pit lane for another 3 seconds. Well, it's pretty easy. That driver knows the racetrack, knows the car, knows the tires, has an advantage. So they come in, they sit, they do their stop, they pull back out. They have an advantage. They'll be back up to speed a little bit quicker. They're comfortable. They feel good. They know what's going on. Imagine going skiing with one of your buddies. You've done a couple of runs. They haven't. You pick them up at the lodge. They got to get warmed up. It's the exact same thing with Lamborghini Super Trofeo action. Well, on those pit stops, if you're doing a dual driver format, you're at a little bit of a disadvantage. So they make sure that the solo driver has a little longer pit stop. If you're doing a driver change, you can do it in 3 less seconds, and that gives you the opportunity to get out there and learn that race car as a green cold driver, so to speak, after that driver change, that pit stop. Big slide on the part of the 13, Sergio Jimenez. And we talk about respecting the bumps. They are everywhere here at Sebring International, not just turn 17, where we tend to think of them. Turn 1 is also a very bumpy area, Jeremy. And you have to think back to the origins of this circuit. It is still an operating airport, and it was designed to land B-17 bombers on back in the 1940s. And when they went to the idea that they would make a heavy bomber training bases, the back straight, the front straight, part of the runways that were here, those are squares of concrete that are about 12 feet square, and I've heard anywhere between 6 and 8 feet thick. So they are giant blocks, and they do, amazingly enough, move a little bit in the sandy soil that's here, and that's where the bumps come from. I think it's also some of the hardest concrete around, because I know they've tried to shave it a couple of times, Jeremy, or grind it off, and it never seems to work.
No, nice try. They'll do what they can to try and minimize the bumps, but it's still always going to be a bumpy racetrack. That's the nature of concrete. As we see the race leader Stephen McAleer bring that prestige performance car number 1, representing the Paramus dealerships. There is not only there's drivers' championships, there's also team championships and a dealer championship as well in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. The team championship currently led pretty convincingly by Change Racing. The dealer championship also by the Charlotte dealership, which is also represented by Change Racing. They're in control of the dealer championship coming into his final couple of races. There's another great shot of this is Sergio Jimenez. So there's 2 Ansa Motorsports cars. We saw Danny Formal's car leaping from bump to bump through Sunset Bend and eventually blowing a tire. And for Sergio Jimenez there, who made a bad pit stop, by the way, he spent almost 16 seconds longer than he needed to on the pit lane. He wasn't changing drivers, so I don't know why that would have been.
I was wondering about that, Jeremy. That's odd as a solo driver to have a long pit stop, because unless there was a problem with the car that they were trying to get a handle on, I don't know why you would sit still any longer. And the great thing about the Lamborghini Super Trofeo is you get action throughout all different kinds of classes. Turn 1 is seeing it right now. Good battles there. The 36 and the 87 having a go at it. Matt Dicken missed the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca rounds, having a good go with Sidney McKee in the 87 as they round the bend in turn 4 and head down through Gurney Bend, the right-hander that leads to the hairpin. Sidney McKee walked away from race number 2 at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca with her first victory in Lamborghini Super Trofeo action in the LB Cup category, and I'm sure that is a weekend that she will not soon forget.
Yeah, very much so. But this is a super battle she's having here with Matt. She's closed in. Matt was running in the second position. In fact, Matt qualified second to Raddy Solari, who's pulled away in the lead in the LB Cup category. But Matt Dicken has not been able to pull away from Sidney McKee.
Just love this racetrack and all the challenges that it brings, so steeped in history. We talked about B-17 Flying Fortresses here. John Heindahl just reminded me, don't forget B-24 Liberators as well. And you think about those pilots training in those machines at this facility, and now these pilots in these Lamborghinis and the sports cars that we see race here on a regular basis doing some training as well. And it really is some of the same mindset, trying to control a machine and get it to do what you want to do under some extreme circumstances. And Sebring, as we have seen throughout this race, certainly can give you some extreme circumstances. Pit window, only 30 seconds left.
Yeah, and Corey Lewis has, he was the last of the contenders to require a pit stop. He has brought the number 63 car into the pits to hand over to McKay Snow. So this is going to handle the overall lead as we see that battle for second place position in the LB Cup category continue on around. Super battle between these two. They really are having a great scrap, and they are going to continue to do that as this race goes along. But out in the lead now, I think, will be Jacob Edson. He's got about a 3-second lead over the second place car of Brandon Godovic. So that gap is around about the same as it was, actually extended just a little bit during that round of pit stops. But that would be not unexpected, because as a solo driver, the number 46 car and the third place car, number 16, both had slightly longer pit stops, 3 seconds longer than the solo drivers. So that has given a slightly bigger edge for Jacob Edson, which was a mistake for Matt Dickin.
Well, Matt Dickin almost ran wide the last time at the hairpin, and Sidney McKee thought about getting down to the inside and getting the pass done and hesitated for just a second. Dickin maintained the position, but deja vu all over again into the hairpin this time around. The same mistake by Dickin, and Sidney McKee said, no, I've seen that one before. I think I know what to do with it now. And a great move there, and takes over the position. Looking through after the pit stops, Madison Snow was shown for a moment behind the number 1 of Stuart Middleton, and that was going to be an issue. Every position out there right now for the 16 is absolutely paramount. Madison Snow needs to collect as many points as absolutely possible, especially with the number 6, Jake Edson, Stephen Agakani, up there in first right now. They've got 2 pole positions here, so points for those. And if they walk away with a victory today, the championship in pro is definitely going to close down.
Yeah, good side-by-side battle there. I think that is Leo Lamelas trying to make a move here, going side-by-side with Andrea Amici. This is the second position in the AM class. The green car is Leo Lamelas in the LFNT US Racetronics entry that is in that position as well, second place. But Andrea Amici, the Italian in car number 25, he's taken over from Ashton Harrison, and he is now, this is a super battle for second position, and they're side by side as they head towards the Jean Durion bends.
Oh, that is good stuff right there. Through Bishop's Bend. Bishop's Bend can be taken flat out at 145 miles an hour in one of these Lamborghini Super Trofeo Huracan Evos when everything is right. Side by side is not right. You're not going to do it there. But great stuff here. Big slide by Sidney McKee as well, back in the turn 14 area of the racetrack. And Matt Dickin almost made contact. Good job. These two have been at it and at each other for the last several laps, and little dramatic moment there as the 25 and the 24 still having a good go. Andrea Amici in the 25 has gotten past Leo Lamelas, and for Amici, this is almost like coming home from the standpoint of his first race in North America was here at Sebring, I believe, with Wayne Taylor Racing and Prestige Performance, and so he'll always look at this racetrack as somewhat special. Right now, second in Pro-Am.
Yeah, he's finally made his way past, and that's not good news for Leo Lamelas' championship aspirations, because he came into the weekend 8 points behind Corey Lewis and McKay Snow. He was running in the fourth position. He's third now, but he's just lost that position to Andrew Amici. Got as high as second, but McKay Snow is quite a long way ahead of both of these two. He's about 13 seconds up the road from this pair that is battling for second place.
74 of Tom Kerr, the first car in the order down the Ullman Straight, and then just behind him, a good battle that we've been watching between the 87 of Sydney McKee and Matt Dickin. They have now closed in on Kerr, and he is going to become a factor in this fight. It'll be interesting to see if McKee flashing the light saying, hey, I'm here, I want by. But wanting and getting by are two different things. She does make the move into turn one, and had been telling Tom Kerr, here it goes, so leave me room.
Well, that's right, Brian. And Tom Kerr, he's been running in the LB Cup class with Sydney
Want him
McKee
to be that nice, I don't think, to Matt Dickin right behind. Looks like there's going to be a penalty on the 38 for pitting outside the window. Also penalties for the 29, a 1.2 second penalty at the end of the race, and the 87, a penalty that'll be applied post-race of 0.87 second, or 0.78 seconds, I should say, for pit stops that were too short. So they'll just add that to the race time, and that moves you behind a competitor, then so be it.
Yeah, and really none of those penalties, I don't think. Well, the 87 one, I guess, is significant because that is Sydney McKee. She's battling with Matt Dickin. The number 29 car is Victor Gomez, but he's well ahead of his competitors in the AM category now. Victor Gomez running in the 6th position overall.
I know hard hate this, but as they run right now, Jake Edson, Stephen Agakani would pick up 15 points for the win, and I say hardcore racers hate that because we still have 14 minutes and a few seconds left to go from here at Sebring, and anything could happen. And Madison Snow would pick up 10 points, so it would be a 5-point swing, plus the 2 pole positions would make it a 7-point swing coming in here. And that is huge for Madison Snow. He'll have to finish 4th or better tomorrow if it were to finish this way. And like I said, if that's, well, it's not over yet. And Stephen Agakani, Jacob Edson, I know Agakani on pit lane on the box probably has his fingers crossed, Jeremy, because Jake Edson's having to work through traffic.
He is, and he's just got past Tom Kerr there pretty easily. Next in his sights, I think, will be that battle for second position in LB Cup between Sydney McKee and Matt Dickin. They're still separated by just a half a second as we were last time around. But Jacob Edson just doing exactly what he needs to do at the front of this field. He's got a 3-second lead over Brandon Godovic.
And Sydney McKee having that good run in the LB Cup category, and that could be big. John Hennessy not here this weekend, couldn't get his car repaired in time after an incident he had at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. So Hennessy not here, and Sydney McKee with some good finishes could move up to 2nd in the championship. Jake Edson behind the wheel of the 6 wants to move up in the championship. He and Stephen Agakani want to move to the lead in pro, and they're doing everything they need to do. 2 pole positions this weekend in race 1 and in race 2, qualifying done for the 2 races, obviously, but the first race is being run right now. And Jake Edson now out in front. Stephen Agakani from the drop of the green, a very powerful performance, did not put a wheel wrong, and now Edson is taken over. They are going to leave this championship either with the championship trophy in their hands or not leaving a thing on the table.
Yeah, and what a great weekend it could potentially be for the Snow family, for Change Racing, and for the Charlotte dealerships, because the Madison Snow is running in 3rd position here, but he still leads the championship. At the overall championship, his younger brother McKay Snow leads the Pro-Am class and the championship. And in the AM category, Victor Gomez, the 4th, is headed towards yet another win in the AM class, also for Change Racing, in the 6th position overall. And back in the LB Cup, Randy Solari has got a pretty handy lead now, 8 seconds over Sydney McKee in the battle for LB Cup, 11th position overall for car number 03.
Sydney McKee still fighting with Matt Dickin. She wants another podium finish. She wants another win, but Randy Solari may have something to do about the win. As you said, he is well out in front right now, but she'd like another podium. She's had 3, including the win, so far this season. This would be a first for second place finish for McKee if she can hold on to that. But Matt Dickin really putting the pressure on Jake Edson, having to work his way through traffic and working his way through that battle between Matt Dickin and Sydney McKee. Looks inside at the hairpin, nothing doing there, and good decision, I think, on Edson's part to say, this is not the time or the place to get this done. I want this victory, but I can't throw it away getting past a back marker. So right now, McKee holding on to second place in LB Cup, and Edson through, but just behind him, Brandon Godovic, fourth car in that train, right there with Edson, not letting him get away, but now Godovic will have to deal with Dickin first and then McKee.
Yeah, I think Jacob Edson's got pretty much everything in control. The gap has come down last time around, down by over a second in actual fact on this lap. As Brandon Godovic, but it's now, as you say, Brian, till it's Brandon Godovic who has to work his way through these slower cars. That's going to cost him a little bit of time and allow Jacob Edson to extend his lead again out in front. It's now around about 3 seconds, which is what it's been on a pretty regular basis. I think Jacob Edson is driving pretty much within himself at the moment from Littleton, Colorado. Very talented young driver, just 25 years of age, and he's doing exactly what he needs to do for that US Racetronics team. But Brandon Godovic in second place in car number 46. He's now going to work his way past Sydney McKee. He's got to go around the outside coming out of Sunset Bend. That's certainly going to cost him a little bit of time.
Yeah, it's going to cost him a lot of time, and that's, I think, what happened to Jake Edson the lap before. He lost time working his way through, and that allowed Godovic to close up, and then Godovic having to deal with the same traffic. I'm sure he has lost the time back to Jake Edson. You said what I was going to say as well, Jeremy, and that is, I think Edson really is on top of his game. Impressive young man, and I think he looked at that traffic and said, okay, I have to deal with it, but so will the 46. Work your way through, be clean. Traffic gives and it takes. Right now it's hurting me, but it's going to hurt him. So I'm going to work my way through methodically, and I think that's exactly what we've seen.
I completely agree. And for Jacob Edson, he's just 25 years of age, but he's got a lot of experience. He's won championships in the Porsche GT3 Cup Series. He was a bit of a star in the open wheel ranks as well, was a Team USA scholarship winner back in 2013. He's a very accomplished driver, and he's got a fair bit of experience here. His first championship came in the Skip Barber Racing School, and the Skip Barber Racing School for many years was based right here at Sebring International Raceway. So this is a track that Jacob Edson knows well, and he's driving, I think, within himself now, and just with 8 minutes remaining, just trying to keep his nose clean. Another clean pass just as he works his way through a little bit more traffic. But it's a nice, comfortable run at the moment for Jacob Edson.
I think the other great thing about this time of the season is by now you know the competitors on the racetrack. You know the other class competitors that are out there. You call Randy Solari the leader in LB Cup back in the turn 14-15 area, but he knows Solari. He's driven around him all season long, and that knowledge really helps. Inside the 69 gets past William Hubble, and Hubble has not been in the series all year long, but Edson raced against him last year. And once again, I think that knowledge of what you can expect from one of those competitors in another class pays big, big dividends. Champions will be crowned this weekend, Jeremy. 4 different classes in Lamborghini Super Trofeo action. We see battles throughout those 4 classes on the racetrack here today.
We do, and right now there's not a lot of close positions going on in any of the classes, although Madison Snow in the 3rd position in car number 16 is coming under pressure now from Stuart Middleton in car number 1. But a little bit further back, there is Matt Dickin, who's still chasing after Sydney McKee. She's put a little bit of daylight between herself and that number 36 car, as we see this battle between the number 16 and the 1. That's Madison Snow and Stuart Middleton in amongst these LB Cup cars contenders as they work their way through the S's and up towards turn 10.
And this is not at all what Madison Snow needs. A little desperation on his part. McKee gives him a slight opening. He takes it. He's through. But so is Middleton. And Middleton now right on the rear wing. And this is big for Madison Snow. If he can finish third today, he can breathe a little bit sigh of relief for this afternoon's race. If he finishes fourth, he's going to have to really press in that final round later today. He needs this third place finish. He needs this podium to limit the damage being done by Jake Edson and Stephen Agakani. And Middleton could care less about the championship. He and Stephen McAleer want a victory, something that they have not had all year long.
Yeah, he'll be certainly striving for that as they head onto the Almond Straight one more time, and just a couple of car lengths between that battle for third and fourth. Madison Snow has it, but Stuart Middleton is, he's another of the Lamborghini young drivers from England, and got a goodly amount of experience in these cars, as of course has Madison Snow. The last time the Lamborghini Super Trofeo raced here at Sebring, in fact the only time they've raced here, was back in 2015. And Madison Snow was one of the top contenders there. I think he got fastest lap in one of the races. Didn't hold a lap record at the end of the weekend, but he has experience here in these cars, and he's looking to use that experience to hold on to that third position ahead of Stuart Middleton.
Randy Solari, the next car in front of Madison Snow, through turn 3, 4, 5, around Gurney Bend towards the hairpin, and it looks like Snow has been able to pull out just a little bit, but he's going to have to deal with Randy Solari. And where Stuart Middleton is so impressive is on the brakes down into the hairpin. Snow balked just a little bit by the 0-3 in front. Now Solari out of the way. He knows what's going on. He gets out of the way and lets the battle come through, and it is there, and so is Middleton. Snow with a block to the inside. Middleton saying, I'm not having anything to do. Can Snow do the over-under? Middleton's through, Jeremy.
He is indeed, and Madison Snow made it as difficult as he possibly could. He was squeezing down the inside line, but as you say, Stuart Middleton said, there's one Lamborghini car with room on the inside. I'm going to take it. And as a result of that, there was no way Madison Snow could even turn into the corner. So that was a really good pass, certainly a bold pass there by Stuart Middleton, but he has now got that third position. And this is the battle now for Pro-Am. McKay Snow all of a sudden has come under intense pressure. That is Andrea Amici, the red and white car right behind the black and red car of McKay Snow. This is a battle not only for fifth position, but crucially perhaps the Pro-Am class lead in this race.
Very good point, Jeremy. And for Jacob Edson out in front right now, Godovic in second, Madison Snow back to fourth. That is going to play into the championship in the pro category, and this battle is red hot. McKay Snow in the 63, and 25 of Amici is through down through turn 16. Now down the Almond Straight. Can Snow answer back in the 63? Amici with a good run off the corner. Snow right there, but doesn't look like he can gain. That's about 160 miles an hour into the braking zone for turn 17. Snow drops back a little bit coming off the apex, and now the 29, Victor Gomez, just behind him. Not for position in class, but Snow needs to try to fight back and get back to Amici. So for the Snow family, things not working out right well, because both Madison and McKay have each lost a position in their respective classes on this last lap.
Yes, they have, and that certainly is not part of the plan.
It's not over, Jeremy. It is not over. Madison Snow, Stuart Middleton side by side into turn 10 yet again. Snow's going to try to stay on the outside. Nothing doing.
Tremendous dicing between these two. They are absolutely neck and neck, side by side, heading into turn 10. It's Middleton who once again has the advantage, but Madison Snow, he's got a huge amount of experience in these cars. Just look at their respective fastest laps in the race. Only a tenth of a second between them. Madison Snow's best is about a tenth quicker than Middleton, but this is a super battle. It's going to go all the way to the end. That's a brave move to the inside there at the Jean Dumoulin bend, and Middleton goes wide.
Oh, and we'll have to see what the officials say about that. Was it contact that put him out there, or did he just overdrive the corner? Because essentially he was behind the curbing and that could be considered a shortcut. We'll have to wait and see, but it's side by side down the Ullman Straight. Once again, 160-mile-an-hour approach to 17. It's hard to go side by side through here. Middleton on the outside, Snow to the inside.
This is tremendous racing between these two. They're side by side as they head toward the start-finish line. This is taking
white flag.
The white flag. It's all or nothing. Just 3 3/4 miles to go.
Edson up in front. He's out of the picture. So is Godovic. But for Madison Snow, he needs third place. He needs every point that he can get. Middleton has it. Snow wants it. And it is going to go down to the line. We saw Madison Snow attack the last time around. Loses a little bit off of turn 4 that time as Edson through the hairpin. 4.5-second lead over Brandon Godovic. But the real fight is Stuart Middleton and Madison Snow as they head down to the hairpin. Snow trying to remount the charge. This is where he really got the advantage last time around and was able to close up on Middleton as they headed into the braking zone for turn 10. Nothing doing this time, and in fact, off the hairpin, I think he loses a car length or two.
There's a tremendous battle going on there, but all on this last lap, it looks like Madison Snow has just fallen back just a little bit from Stuart Middleton. This is 4th position then, if it remains this way. Jacob Edson heading in now to the final mile of this race. He's going to be heading on to the Ullman Straight for the very last time. This gorgeous looking car. That's hand-painted at the Lamborghini factory in Italy. That special Tricolore edition machine out in front of this race.
The penultimate round of the 2020 Lamborghini Super Trofeo North American Championship is just about over, and the championships are closing down. Jacob Edson, Stephen Agacani, the number 6. U.S. Racetronics, Lamborghini Beverly Hills through 17, onto the front straightaway, looking for the checkered flag. They've got it. They've got the win. Win number 3 on the 2020 season, and the championship is narrowing down. What can Madison Snow do? Big run off of 17, closing in on Stuart Middleton in the 1. It's going to be a dash to the line. Middleton's going to win it, and he gets the final spot on the podium in the pro category. And for Madison Snow, that is big, big news, because that is going to allow Agacani and Edson to close down that much more. Sidney McKee in the 87. The 38 just in front, not in the same class, and Sidney McKee is going to have a good run to 3rd in LB Cup. But what great action for Lamborghini Super Trofeo here at Sebring. Been a few years since they have run here, and it is great to see them back. Andrea Amici leading in the Pro-Am category, Victor Gomez in Am. Randy Solari is going to take the victory in LB Cup, and Jeremy did not disappoint, and we still have one more race, and the championships are not done.
That's right, and Leo Lamelas had got ahead of McKay Snow for 2nd position in the Pro-Am class going into on this final lap. McKay Snow then falls to 3rd position in the class, 7th overall. Andrea Amici, the Italian, along with Ashton Harrison, wins the Pro-Am category for prestige performance. Leo Lamelas in 2nd position, and McKay Snow in 3rd, and that is going to tighten up their championship as well going into the finale later on this evening.
Jacob Edson stuck in a snowbank 3 nights ago, trying to get out of his house and get to the airport in Colorado. And 3 days later, the checkered flag and closing in on a championship in Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Good stuff. 1 race to go from Sebring. 9 rounds in the book. The 10th round will decide the championship. Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America, the most exotic one-make series in North America and in the world.